want to pick up on the last comment you made. One of the best compliments I've ever received in my entire life was from my CEO when I was working at Kforce, probably about 8 or 9 years into my 15-year tenure there. And I learned from the military, a lot of people don't know about the military. We are voracious, military professionals are voracious readers of history, uh, technology, or whatever. It's kind of like being a doctor in the sense that if a doctor graduates med school and never cracks a book or learns new procedures, he's pretty much dated 5 years out. Same thing in the military. So I brought that with me, and I often found that I was the only one reading Harvard Business Review and articles from McKinsey and all of these. Now, these were accomplished executives I worked with, but they had been brought up the old school way, and all of that. So they hadn't had to focus on professional education like that. And he told me, Mike, more so than any executive, including myself, no one matches your level of professional curiosity. And I'm like, wow, well, thank you for that. What do you mean? And he said, you're always talking. Hey, did you see the article in the Wall Street Journal today?
Yeah.
Did you see what they said on CNBC today? I think that's going to affect our industry and all of that. He said, you're always observant. You're always doing this. And so, enough patting myself on the back. I'd like you to just say a little bit more about how valuable a trait that professional curiosity is to becoming a better leader, a better professional. And are there any methods or techniques that you did? I'm sure you were there. I mean, what do you tell your students about being professionally curious and how to remain so?
Again, I let me start, because I've had now experience in academia, 10 years out. And the reality is I got more expansive reading done when I was running a business than I did as an academic. When you're an academic, all of the reward systems are about doubling down on your particular field. The old slur about professors. As a professor gets older, he learns more and more about less and less. There's a certain truth to that. So one is it goes beyond specialization. That's especially true in the world today. And I'll give you a business example because I over the years, I've probably been part of as many strategy meetings as anybody, and I mean anybody in the Western world. And what I have found over the years, and I tell executives this, most strategy meetings, executives spend way too much time talking about their competitors and nowhere near enough time talking about their customers, what's changing out there, what's happening with buying. Companies rarely get blindsided by competitors, very rarely. But they get blindsided all the time by what in strategy courses we call substitutes. In other words, another way of getting the job done, another technology or distribution channel, etc. That's where curiosity counts. What else is going on that can affect the market and sources of today's revenue? And the readings there, with all due respect to my publisher, Harvard Business Review Press, the readings there go beyond HBR or, for that matter, business publications. And you know this. History counts. Good novels count. All of those things count. But at the end of the day, you have to have the curiosity and, the discipline to learn about that. We talked earlier about Steve Jobs. People can see this on YouTube, but Jobs, a couple of years before he passed away, gave the graduation speech at Stanford University. Now, most graduation speeches, Mike, as you know, I mean, they're the best antidote to insomnia there is. Jobs' speech is worth listening to. It's only about 15 minutes, and he talks about 3 events in his life that made a difference. And the first one is when he was an undergraduate at Reed College. He breaks up with his girlfriend. He's heartbroken. He drops out of school. Essentially, for a few weeks, he's living on a friend's couch. And more or less to keep himself occupied, he took a course at the local school in, I think it was Chinese or Japanese calligraphy, all right? Just to do it. What the heck? What he points out is that a couple of years later, when they were designing the interface for the first Macintosh, it turns out that that course in calligraphy was extraordinarily useful. And his point to the students, I think, is a good one. You never know. You never know what's going to be useful. That's the curiosity.